This is the male great hornbill, Buceros bicornis, one of the largest and most iconic hornbill species on Earth. His casque, that grand, hollow crown, is not just a symbol of his strength, but a resonant amplifier of his call, echoing through the jungle like the beat of an ancient drum. Within this hollow, deep behind a wall of her own making, his mate waits, entombed in darkness. When the female hornbill enters her nesting chamber, she surrenders her freedom, sealing herself inside with mud, bark, and her own droppings. For up to 8 weeks, she will not leave. Inside, she will molt her feathers, incubate her eggs, and raise their chick. But this she cannot do alone. Twice a day, sometimes more, the male returns with his precious cargo: wild figs, berries, even small animals. He offers them one by one, slipping them tenderly through the slit, a lifeline of sustenance and love. It is a bond built not on brief courtship, but on sustained devotion. In the hornbill's world, fatherhood is not a gesture, it is a vow. Through storm and hunger, through blazing heat and biting cold, he perseveres. For his mate, for the future of their kind. In the quiet cathedral of the forest canopy, the great hornbill reminds us that even in the wildest of worlds, devotion is the greatest survival strategy of all. Here, near the roof of the world's oldest forests, comes a monarch of the air, a bird as ancient as the trees themselves, the great hornbill, regal, resolute, and always hungry. His destination, the mighty banyan fig, a tree that feeds more creatures than any other, to many a fruit, to him a feast. With surgical precision, he selects the ripest fig. His beak is powerful but gentle, evolved to pluck, not crush. The hornbill does not chew. He does not break his prize. He simply swallows whole, allowing the fig seeds to remain intact, a gift, later, to the forest floor. In a single morning, a hornbill may consume over 150 fruits. each one a capsule of energy and a promise of life. For the banyan, this bird is not just a guest, but a gardener. With every fig devoured, the hornbill carries the forest inside him. Hours later, far from the mother tree, he will excrete the seeds, fertilized, scattered, ready to root in the earth. He is a creature of appetite and an agent of rebirth. And yet, this moment of feeding is more than biology. It is a continuation of a relationship born millions of years ago, between tree and bird. Fruit and flight, survival and symbiosis. The banyan offers nourishment, the hornbill offers movement. One rooted, the other winged. Together they write the story of the forest, in seeds and feathers and time. In this great web of life there are no kings, only keepers. And in his golden casque and sky-bound wings, the great hornbill carries the crown of the canopy. Long-legged, bluish-grey, crowned with a plume of pale feathers, the Kagu is a bird out of time. Almost flightless, it drifts like smoke across the forest floor, a dancer in a world of stillness. It is one of only 2 surviving members of the ancient lineage Rhinochettidae, a family found nowhere else on Earth, a species shaped by millions of years of isolation and silence. Its wings are broad, but not for flying. The Kagu can flutter low, glide for a few meters, but in truth it belongs to the shadows beneath the trees. It has exchanged the sky for the safety of solitude. It hunts in silence, earthworms, insects, small reptiles. Using its finely honed sense of smell, a rarity among birds, it detects prey hidden in the soil. It is a ghost of the forest, but a ghost that must eat, must defend, must survive. Once, Kagus ruled this island in peace. With no natural predators, they flourished, nesting on the ground, living quietly in family pairs. But then came change. Humans arrived, and with them, dogs, cats, rats, creatures the Kagu had never known, creatures it had no defense against. Once widespread across the island, the Kagu was driven to the edge. But not all was lost. A handful of biologists, villagers, and conservationists rose to protect what remained. They tracked the Kagu's hidden trails, fenced off sanctuaries, and fought to save a bird older than empires. Today, the Kagu endures. Carefully monitored, fiercely protected. Their numbers have risen from fewer than 100 to over 1,000. Still vulnerable, yes, but no longer forgotten. It cannot fly, but it can defend. When threatened, the Kagu fans its wings, revealing a stunning flash of color, a final warning, the echo of evolution's ancient strategy. In a world forever racing forward, the Kagu walks backward, slowly, silently, carrying the memory of Gondwana in every step. It is more than rare. It is irreplaceable. In the high forests of New Caledonia, the Kagu reminds us that wonder still walks the earth, if only we are quiet enough to listen. High in the mist-draped cloud forests of the Andes, where ancient trees are cloaked in moss and orchids drip from the canopy, a secret ritual is about to begin. A performance millions of years in the making for the fleeting promise of love. Here, in a secluded glade, known only to those who seek it, gathers one of nature's most flamboyant dancers, the male Andean cock of the rock. With feathers ablaze in brilliant orange-red, a towering crest, and a call like the bark of a monkey, the cock of the rock is one of the most striking birds on Earth. But beauty alone is not enough. Each morning, just before dawn, up to a dozen males gather in a site known as a lek, a natural stage set beneath the leaves, passed down through generations. Here they will perform, not as allies, but as rivals. He bows, he bobs, he shivers with energy. Every movement, a statement. Every call, a challenge. Competitors surround him on all sides. Each male is judged not by force, but by flair. In this forest court, the currency is charisma. And then she arrives. The female cock of the rock does not dance. She does not sing. She doesn't need to. With a single glance, she decides the fate of generations. For hours they perform, often without rest, burning precious energy to earn a moment of her attention. For most, it will be in vain. At last, one is chosen. Not the strongest, not the loudest, but the most mesmerizing. For the rest, there is no second chance. Not today. They will return tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. For courtship in the Andes is not a moment. It is a mission. The chosen male will never meet his offspring. He will not build a nest. He will not raise his young. His role ends with the dance. For the cock of the rock, fatherhood begins and ends with seduction. In the hidden arenas of the cloud forest, where light and mist weave through trees older than time, the cock of the rock performs not just for a mate, but for the continuation of beauty itself. Here, in a world half lost to clouds, we are reminded that in nature, love is not whispered. It is declared. Morning in the Amazon is not announced so much as unveiled, like a curtain slowly drawing back to reveal a scene already alive and breathing. The first light filters through the canopy in golden shafts, dripping down the emerald curtain of trees, turning dewdrops into scattered stars. The air is heavy with mist, thick with the scent of damp earth and the murmur of unseen creatures waking. Deep within the Madre de Dios region of Peru, the rainforest stirs in chorus. And at the heart of this morning symphony lies the Chuncho salty clay lick, Colpa Chuncho, a sacred site of gathering, life and color. From the canopy above, a rustling begins. Then the air is pierced by shrill, metallic cries, eerie yet enchanting echoes that reverberate through the jungle like the call of ancient spirits. They come in waves. First, the vivid flames of the scarlet macaws, Ara macaw, their crimson, yellow and blue feathers a flickering fire against the green backdrop. Close behind, like shadows and embers mingling, glide the red and green macaws, Ara chloropterus, just as brilliant but broader in wingspan, with deep forest green shoulders and bold red plumage that catches the sun in flashes of ruby and wine. The birds descend from the trees in graceful arcs, spiraling downward in synchronized motion. Some circle wide, cautious of hidden predators, while others, braver or perhaps more desperate for their mineral feast, land upon the steep exposed face of the cliff. A curtain of ochre and burnt sienna clay along the river's bend. The lick itself is a phenomenon of nature, rich in salts and minerals essential to neutralize the alkaloids and to toxins found in many of the rainforest fruits these parrots consume. The scene is electric with life. Dozens upon dozens of macaws gather. Their calls rise in a crescendo of rasps, squawks, and cackles, discordant to the human ear, but full of meaning, warnings, challenges, flirtations. Wings beat in bursts, beaks scrape and dig at the clay, heads tilt as chunks are swallowed with practiced ease. Scarlet macaws cling to the vertical clay wall, their powerful zygodactyl feet clutching tight as they maneuver delicately, inching sideways or upside down with surprising agility. Beside them, the red and green macaws command the space with slow, deliberate movements, their eyes bright and intelligent. A sudden flutter, a burst of wings. One scarlet macaw, startled by the slither of something unseen below, or perhaps the screech of an unseen hawk, takes off. The sound of its flight, a strong whooshing thrum, triggers others. Like a storm scattering leaves, a flurry of macaws lifts into the air. Crimson and green streaks arc skyward, rising above the clay lick in a chaotic dance. The morning sun catches their feathers mid-flight, painting the sky with strokes of primary brilliance. But not all leave. Many remain, undeterred. Their bond to the clay is stronger than their fear. Mated pairs, distinguishable by their mirrored movements and frequent grooming, continue their ritual. They sidle close to each other, touch beaks, and resume their feast. A juvenile clumsily flutters from one perch to another, not yet strong in flight, its plumage still dull, learning by watching the elders. The forest watches silently. High above, howler monkeys crouch on branches, their deep guttural cries echoing distantly. A capybara family, hidden in the brush near the river, pauses to drink. A black cayman, eyes just above the water's surface, observes the commotion with a predator's stillness. And still the macaws come. Over the course of hours, the flock changes in rhythm and population. Some leave with their crops full, gliding back to the towering ceiba trees where they will preen and rest. Others arrive in squadrons, their arrival a rolling thunder of color and sound. The clay wall remains a pulsing heart, beating life into the forest, sustaining the macaws who in turn carry the seeds of the jungle across vast distances. Planters of the forest, guardians of its future. As the sun climbs higher, the activity begins to wane. The shadows shift. The air grows hot and heavy. One final chorus of calls rings out across the lick, less urgent now, more content. A few birds remain, lazily pecking, wings drooping in the rising heat. By midday, the Chuncho clay lick quiets again, returning to stillness. But in that silence lingers the ghost of wings and the memory of color. A morning spectacle that speaks to the depth of wildness in the world. A place where earth and bird are bound in ancient contract, and where each sunrise promises a pageant of life, raw and unfiltered.